Hey there and welcome to episode number 21 of I'm Just Gonna Say It. I'm Aaron, still your friendly internet renegade, and today I want to talk a little bit about the spiritual significance of water. What it means to us in our daily lives, what it can mean to us if we really focus on it, and also what it means for our eating habits. Stay tuned. Here we go with number 21. So, we cannot talk about the spiritual significance of water without first discussing the research by Dr. Masaru Emoto. He did research into the effects of thoughts and emotions on water, and we're going to have a look at a clip which explains all that.
Mr. Emoto became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the four elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a microscope.
For
one sample of water, we drop about 0.5 cc's onto each 50 petri dishes. Then we take those 50 petri dishes and freeze them in a freezer at minus 25 degrees Celsius for about 3 hours. We take those frozen samples into a refrigerator that is set at minus 5 degrees Celsius, where a microscope with a camera is set up. There we take photographs of each of the 50 water drops individually. We first take photographs of water that we did not put any information in. Then we take the water with information and do the same procedure just described. We take those before and after photographs and compare the differences. When we projected the feeling of love and thanks to water, it made the most beautiful crystal. At times like this, I think water is at peace.
This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the molecules is unknown, except to the water molecules, of course. And it's really fascinating when you keep in mind that 90% of our bodies are water.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? If thoughts can do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us.
Okay, so let's recap. Thoughts, emotions, and intentions have an effect on the crystalline structure of water. Now, if you think about that for a moment, that's pretty intense because the implications that has for a lot of things in our daily lives are huge. As they mentioned themselves already, we are made out of almost 70% water. So our thoughts and emotions are going to have a huge effect on our makeup, basically. Now, this doesn't surprise me a whole lot, actually, because the benefits of meditation and of positive thinking and stuff like that, mindfulness, have already been well documented by science, except we don't really understand why it works yet. And this is one of the mechanisms which would provide a root for that, actually. Now, what isn't talked about a whole lot is the implications this has for the food we eat, actually. Mostly the alive food like animals, but also plants and stuff like that. Because this research seems to suggest that the way we treat it and the intentions we put into that, etc., is going to have a huge effect on its structure, aside from the effects we already know exist, like the effect of stress hormones on the tenderness of meat, for instance. Now, I myself stopped eating meat like 3 months ago, mostly for health and also ethical reasons, of course. But I didn't even realize this at that moment yet. So, I mean, take animals that are being slaughtered. If they're lucky, they had a pretty decent life, but often that's not the case. And then they're, at the end of their lives, faced with a lot of blood, gore, and, well, I'm not going to say brain dead, but emotionally dead people, because you really have to numb yourself to work in a slaughterhouse, I think. So that all gets recorded in there, in that body, and since they are also mostly water, I think that's going to have a profound effect on its quality. And I think we should do more research on that. Now, the same, of course, goes for plants. I mean, you also put intentions into plants, and you treat them in a certain way. But probably the effect from meat is way stronger. I would advise you to stop eating meat altogether, but like I know about myself, that's something you have to decide for yourself. So, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment. And until the next video, love you. Bye bye.